Morning. I call this session of the Public Service Commission to order. Madam Secretary, are there any changes to the final agenda?
There are no changes to the final agenda.
Thank you. Before moving to the agenda, I'd like to conduct a roll call of commissioners. When I call your name, please confirm that you are present. Commissioner James Alisi.
Present.
Commissioner Dave Valesky.
Here.
Commissioner John Majori.
Here.
Commissioner Jenna Bright.
Here.
Commissioner Denise Sheehan.
Here.
Commissioner Radina Volova.
Present.
Thank you. As there are no items on today's regular agenda, we will move to the consent agenda. Do any commissioners wish to comment on or recuse from voting on any items on the consent agenda, beginning with Commissioner Alisi?
No comments or questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Valesky?
No comments or questions.
Thank you. Commissioner Majori?
Yes, I do have comments on two items. The first,
Commissioner, I believe your microphone may be off.
okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
No, we
No.
cannot
They're
hear
not.
you well at all.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Now we can.
It's better. I think you can proceed.
Test, can you hear? Okay. All right, I'm going to speak as close to the mic as I can. All right, I'm going to first comment on item 164, which is the gas planning procedure. So the intent of the gas system planning process is to ensure that the commission has the necessary information to consider the LDC's long-term plans and alternative solutions to ensure that New York's residents can continue to have safe, adequate, and reliable gas service as we transition to alternative energy sources and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Although the entire purpose of this procedure is to help the state and its utilities navigate that transition, the action we take today is subject to CLCPA Section 7.2, which requires all state entities to take into consideration whether their actions are inconsistent with or will interfere with the attainment of the statewide greenhouse gas emission limits. Thus, final commission decisions, including this one, the decision the commission makes in this proceeding, are subject to the evaluation required under CLCPA 7.2. Section 7.2 states that if a decision is deemed to be inconsistent with or interferes with the attainment of the state's greenhouse gas emission limits, we must provide a detailed statement of justification as to why such limits may not be met and identify alternatives or greenhouse gas mitigation measures to be required. The Commission's actions in this proceeding is consistent with the CLCPA. The very purpose of the gas planning proceeding, which is clearly explained in the order, is the explanation and justification for why we are taking this action. Moreover, we are not simply accepting the company's proposals, but instead are directing the companies to take a number of further actions. Ordering these further actions brings the order in line with the CLCPA. I also find that the order is consistent with the original order adopting the gas planning procedure as explained within the order itself. So for these reasons, I am voting yes on this item. So those are my comments on 164. I'm now going to comment on item 379. So on this item, I'm going to vote no. I would like to thank the staff for spending considerable time with me so as to understand my views on this matter. I would also like to thank my colleagues for also individually hearing me out. Out of respect for everyone's time, I'm not going to walk through a lengthy reiteration of my thinking here. I would like to say that the Fairlife project related to this order is a positive for the state of New York, but at this juncture, I cannot reconcile my concerns about the order itself. Based on my 3 years on the commission, I believe that this particular order is unique and specific, and I'm optimistic that our discussions about this order will lead to positive changes as to how we approach more typical orders in the future. But with regret, my vote on this item is a no. That concludes my remarks on the consent agenda items.
Thank you. Commissioner Bright?
No comments or questions. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Sheehan?
I am recusing from items 363, 367, and 371. And other than that, I have no other comments.
Thank you. And Commissioner Volova?
Thank you. No recusals, and I have some brief remarks on item 164. As the order notes that will be published later today, this proceeding was established to compel New York's major gas utilities to begin taking steps toward decarbonizing their gas systems and to establish a gas distribution planning process that is transparent and results in identifying the lowest cost pathways to achieving emission reductions and ensuring reliability and affordability. The company's long-term gas plan, with the further actions required by this order, is an important step toward achieving the objectives of the long-term planning process. Among other things, the order requires the companies to file a report on the benefits to and impacts on disadvantaged communities from the plan, to provide more data on customer counts and annual gas use per customer, as well as energy efficiency, to provide a no infrastructure scenario, and to undertake a multivariable optimization process that is important for forecasting. The companies are among the first in the nation to develop such sweeping updates to their gas planning processes, and I have no doubt that other utilities and states across the country will look to the lessons we learn as the companies begin implementation. This will be an iterative process, given the novel nature of many of the approaches in the plan. We have a lot of learning to do, and we must do it quickly. I look forward to the next steps required in this order, as well as to seeing what we can do to establish some guidance on the multivariable optimization process in advance of the company's 2027 plan filing. And that concludes my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll now call for a vote. My vote is in favor of the recommendations on the consent agenda. Commissioner Lisi, how do you vote?
Yes on all items.
Thank you. Commissioner Valesky?
Yes on all items.
Thank you. Commissioner Majori?
No on item 379. Yes on all the other items.
Thank you. Commissioner Bright?
Yes on all items.
Thank you. Commissioner Sheehan?
Yes on all items with the exception of those items I will be recusing from 363, 367, and 371. Thank you.
Thank you, and so noted. Commissioner Villova?
Yes on all items.
Thank you. The items are approved and the recommendations adopted. Madam Secretary, is there anything further to come before us today?
There is nothing further.
And with that, I adjourn. Thank you, everyone.